Ladies and gentlemen, in the last 24 hours in the cryptocurrency market, we have seen about $2 billion US dollars in long liquidations. This has been brutal, not rarely for Bitcoin in a lot of ways. In fact, Bitcoin's actually come down. Here's the good news before I get into the bad news in the Ethereum and the altcoin market. Bitcoin's actually come down and it's held onto a major support zone here in yellow, stemming backwards from the 2021 highs. It's tested that zone perfectly. It's in a strong bounce off of that zone. Now, obviously, we need to hold that level. We can't really be affording to go much lower here on Bitcoin, but it's really Ethereum and altcoins that have been absolutely wrecked here. We've seen Ethereum in the last 3 days drop down about 38%. I mean, just huge drops there on Ethereum, really highlighting how fragile the altcoin market can be. Even the strongest coin in the altcoin market, Ethereum, the second biggest market cap coin in the cryptocurrency market, dropping 40% almost in 3 days, less than 3 days. It just shows you guys these altcoins can move very, very rapidly and very, very unexpectedly. We had a breakout on Ethereum, in fact, and we discussed this yesterday, a breakout on Ethereum, which rolled over, it fizzled out. We broke a triangle formation on the RSI and on the price chart with a volume surge. It rolled over, it was a fake out, and we went straight downwards, breaking below that support zone, breaking below the RSI support zone as well, and triggering a massive drop below bull market support band, and also major horizontal support, which we've held at this point since the start of November, which has acted as resistance here in August, which has acted as support for months on end from May or February 2024. Very major support zone lost there on Ethereum. And obviously, if Ethereum gets wrecked like that, it's altcoins that are really going to get wrecked, and we've seen it. You know, altcoins, some of them down 50, 60% in the last 48 hours. My biggest concern here is not necessarily Bitcoin. I'm watching Bitcoin like a hawk, don't get me wrong. It's the altcoin market. We'll discuss Bitcoin dominance. We'll discuss altcoins in general. We'll discuss the 4-year cycle as a whole. And we'll discuss, because we know the 4-year cycle is based on Bitcoin fundamentally, what Bitcoin needs to do to resolve this situation, because there is a threat here now. And we need to take it very, very seriously. Before we get into it, guys, and I will keep it short and sharp today. I'm not going to waste your time diving into every single nuance about what's happened and why it's happened. I'm just going to keep it short and sharp, what you need to know. That's how I like to do it and how I think you guys like me to do it. Before we get into it, though, Bittunix and BitGet, if you want an exchange, and by the way, you do need an exchange, and not only that, you need not any old exchange. You need a good exchange, right? You need an exchange that takes your money seriously, that's making it secure, that's making it safe, and that's not overcharging you ridiculous amounts in fees. And that's why I've chosen Bittunix and BitGet to advertise on this YouTube channel. With my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount on either of those exchanges. Bittunix is available to everyone in the world, non-KYC, and BitGet's available to everyone except for people from the USA. So take your pick down below, get that trading fee discount with my referral link, a permanent discount with my referral link, and sign up. Guys, use the links down below. I appreciate it. Let's get into the content. Right, let's just clear up the situation on Bitcoin before we get into the altcoin market here. I really, really do not see the need to get into short-term. Guys, I mean, I can just show you the hourly chart here. What short-term analysis do you want me to do here? It's an absolute mess. We've dropped downwards hugely on Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything. In the last matter of a few bloody hours, to be honest. You know, Bitcoin seeing a strong bounce here. It's good to see, but that bounces from a macro zone, and so we need to speak about macro predominantly, okay? Now, if I wanted to talk about one single short-term level that you should be looking at on Bitcoin, it's 97K, all right? Why is it 97K? Well, that's the volume profile level. That is the major midpoint of the range. If we get back above 97.3, I think that Bitcoin has pretty much cleared this short-term danger. We need to actually get above it properly, not just a small jump above it, like actually staying above it, daily candle close, the whole 9 yards. But other than that, I really want to look at macro. This is what matters here, okay? We're talking about macro threats. We're not talking about short-term price action. I don't care about that. I care about, is the bull market intact? That's what I care about. That's what you should care about fundamentally. So I've been proven correct time and time again here. People have tried throughout this range to say, oh yeah, the range is horizontal. We've got horizontal levels here. They're trying to say it's based on indicators like the 50 moving average. No, it's actually based on diagonal lines. That's the simple truth. Again, I've been proven correct about this time and time again for a month now. We've got a major resistance zone here from orange, from a 2017 bull market through the 2021 bull market through to the 2 recent peaks in December and also last month. Okay, that is the resistance zone. That's what we need to break. break. Similarly, we've got a very strong support zone, which stems back from 2021 right here. You can see the two peaks in 2021, and you can see it's been acting as support ever since, including on today's support retest. This is the line that matters. This is the line that we came down to today. This is the line we're bouncing off of so far. And given that line is still intact, we are still in the exact same macro range. And so, it might sound ridiculous, but the macro is actually the same. Nothing has changed on the macro. The macro structure is still intact. The macro support is still there. There's no breakdown here on the macro. It really is an inter-range breakdown on Bitcoin that has led to a exemplified breakdown on the Ethereum and cryptocurrency market, and altcoin market, I should say, charts. Now, that doesn't mean there's no cause for concern on Bitcoin. There is cause for concern, and the cause for concern fundamentally is what I said yesterday. We've got this structure here now. We've got this potential double top formation. And the question is, do we see a double top like what we saw in 2021 at the end of the bull market, right? A double top that leads to a breakdown in the end of the bull market, or do we see a double top like what we saw here in 2023? We see a double top formation, but we bounce again on the second retest and we bounce to the upside, right? Which one do we see, 2021 or 2023? That's the big question. We don't know fundamentally. Now, we are in the 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle says the bull market is not over. And so cyclically speaking, we should bounce here. That's the simple truth. The Bitcoin 4-year cycle, everything we ever know about Bitcoin, that's kind of suggested and predicted time and time again since 2012 how Bitcoin should behave, when Bitcoin should top, when Bitcoin should bottom, says that we should bounce here. That's what it says, okay? It says the top is not in. It says the top is not going to be in until late this year. That's what the 4-year cycle says, right? Now, should we trust the cycle blindly? Not necessarily, right? We shouldn't blindly trust anything, but it does say something, okay? It's the strongest trend Bitcoin has. It's really the only trend Bitcoin has if you're thinking about it, because all other trends on the Bitcoin chart are encompassed within the time frame of this larger 4-year cycle trend. So it does mean something, right? So the cycle says we shouldn't break down, right? Now, will the bull market end? Will the cycle be broken if we broke this yellow level? It's quite hard to say exactly. It's not like there's a 10 commandments stone tablet written about where the invalidation of the 4-year cycle will be, but it will certainly be a terrible thing that will happen, a very big step in the wrong direction. We do not want to see it, and we don't want to find out, quite frankly. So I want to be seeing Bitcoin maintain this yellow support level, or at the very least, maintaining some sort of coherence with the broad horizontal support zone of this range. If it loses that, you're just getting into really sketchy territory holding past that point. At this point in time, Bitcoin still is technically sound on a macro perspective. There's nothing that's actually happened here on Bitcoin. No macro breakdown. It's the altcoin market. It's Ethereum. Again, speaking of Ethereum, just like we spoke about in the introduction, failed breakout, rolled over, massive drop to the downside. But here's the nuance, okay? A lot of people are caught up in the bloodshed right now. A lot of people are caught up in the fear of the drop. We have actually found support here. Now, although it's very, very far down, right? It's way further down than we would have expected Ethereum to be just 2 days ago. We have found support on another macro support range around 2,100, which we held throughout August, while the prior support zone was acting as resistance, which we held over here throughout December 2023, and which we actually found resistance at from November 2023. We are at support on Ethereum. It's quite likely, in my view, that 2,100 will be the low, at least in a medium-term time scale. And obviously, if we are going to have any sort of recovery here for this bull market, that should be the low in general, right? Because the extent of the drop here on Ethereum is just absolutely staggering. I don't see how it could go lower unless Bitcoin sees a macro breakdown, in which case we'd be threatening the bull market as a whole. So if the bull market remains intact, and hence if Bitcoin remains within its macro structure, I don't see how Ethereum could go below 2,100. That's me personally, unless there is a complete and utter change to how the market has always behaved. That's my opinion there. If we look at the altcoin market cap chart, it's the same story as Ethereum. Brutal rejections from the 2021 all-time high, and breaking down from a support zone just yesterday. Cataclysmic drop there in the altcoin market. But again, finding support on a prior resistance level, finding support on a resistance that was offered there in March 2024, and also resistance and support stemming backwards from 2021. So we have actually probably found, in my view, at least the short-term, medium-term bottom. And now the question is, well, if the bull market continues, that will likely be the long-term bottom. And if the bull market ends, obviously we just go down and everything's ruined. So I think The blunt force of that drop is over. That's my personal opinion at this point. I don't see how we could maintain any sort of coherence with regular cyclical trends and continue downwards after a 40% drop in less than 3 days. That would be ridiculous. Now, the problem with this is the fundamental problem with what's just happened. And look, there's so much to discuss in this video. It's taken me a while to get to this, and there's probably half the audience has clicked off by now, so I'll have to make a dedicated video on it tomorrow. But the big issue here is that the altcoin market has potentially seen very serious damage, cyclically speaking, okay? The 4-year cycle on Bitcoin is a date range trend. Yes, it is a Bitcoin trend. It doesn't necessarily matter too much what happens with altcoins in regards to the 4-year cycle, because the 4-year cycle is based on Bitcoin and altcoins merely just go along with the ride. That's just how it works. But we have seen over the last 2 cycles a trend develop on the Bitcoin dominance chart, a date range trend just like the ones on the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. It takes, historically speaking, according to this trend, 322 days for Bitcoin dominance to reach its low after starting to drop. So altcoin season, in other words, lasts 322 days. The problem is, that's happened twice now. The problem is, and that was going to happen again, by the way, if regular cyclical theory is going to play out on the altcoin market, the problem is Bitcoin dominance started dropping. It was scheduled to go downwards for 322 days, and that would have put it perfectly at the expected 4-year cycle top of October 2025. The problem is now Bitcoin dominance during this cataclysmic drop has actually reached new highs, and therefore this trend is completely invalidated, okay? Unless that was a random fake out and it's short-lived and we go down straight from here, it's invalidated now. So we don't really know what's going to happen to altcoins here, right? Now, that doesn't mean the Bitcoin 4-year cycle is over. It just means the regular theory of seeing an altcoin season lasting however so many days, going down however so many amount in Bitcoin dominance percentage points, that trend is gone, right? And that the implications of that are actually very big. But again, we're 11 minutes in here. I've probably lost half the retention on this video already. I need to do a dedicated video on that tomorrow. And it's not like I can give a super clear answer given how recently this has just happened as well. I need to do my own analysis as well. But I do want you to know that the altcoin market here has been damaged quite significantly, not just in price, but also in how it reacts, historically speaking, and its cyclical trends, okay? How it reacts to Bitcoin, I should say, historically speaking, and its cyclical trends. There is some potential actual permanent damage here for the altcoin market. That damage has not yet been seen on Bitcoin, and I pray to God that it doesn't get realized on Bitcoin. We need Bitcoin to hold this yellow level, or the levels vaguely surrounding it at least. Now, it goes without saying that a lot of this has been caused by the macroeconomy. A lot of this has been caused by the trade tariffs put on Canada by the USA. That has strengthened the DXY, strengthened the US dollar, and the problem with that is, you know, strengthening the US dollar is it just inherently reverse correlated with financial markets. So when the US dollar gets strengthened, when the DXY rises, we see financial markets tank. And we've seen the US dollar strengthen. We've seen it bounce off of a support zone. And that's very bad news because that looks like a resistance support flip now, which indicates that it will continue going upwards. And if it continues going upwards, we'll see continuously financial markets getting destroyed. So I pray that that reverses as well. And obviously, speaking broadly of the more of just macroeconomy in general and interest rates were meant to be dropping a lot faster than they are, and that means that the DXY and the US dollar will stay a lot stronger than it's meant to be at this part of the cycle for a lot longer. Okay, now eventually we will see regular cycle in the sense that interest rates will drop, and we will see the DXY weaken. But the question is when, and the question is, can the market hold on to the levels it needs to hold on to while it's waiting for that to occur? These are the big questions, right? And we discussed that yesterday, and we'll discuss this in much more depth in future videos as well. Right now, just like a Bitcoin, the S&P 500 is actually on support. It is on the bull market support band. The last time we tested that level fully was back here in September 9th, 2024. And obviously September 9th, 2024 was when Bitcoin found a bottom before doubling in price in a matter of a couple of weeks, right? So we are actually on macro support here, not only on Bitcoin, but on the S&P and now on Ethereum as well. It's just a very low down macro support, but it is still a support, okay? So we're not really in the midst of a breakdown as we speak currently. The dust is kind of settling here. And now the question is, well, you know, what happens here? Do we rebound? And what's the damage? And we don't really know that until we see the next couple of days unfold. Because if this move is going to continue downwards, it will likely continue downwards quite rapidly. So I'm praying that we stagnate here and build a base for support before going upwards. What am I right now? Well, I'm a macro bull still. I'm macro bullish. I still believe we're in a bull market. I don't believe the 4-year cycle is invalidated at this point in time. And so that is my stance in the market. That stance will not change until my invalidation zones are reached, which I have been quite clear about, I believe. So guys, a bit of a cluster of a video here today, a bit rambly. That's just kind of my energy matching the energy of the market right now. There's so much to discuss. I probably should have broken it up into 2 or 3 videos, to be honest with you. But I will get to each of those individual points, especially the point on Bitcoin dominance in the altcoin market, in a separate video, most likely tomorrow. We'll get it all out. Yeah, there's no point rushing, guys. Let's get into it tomorrow. Right, again, if you appreciate the content, Bitunix and BitGet, the 2 exchanges I advertise with my referral link down below. With my referral link down below, if you click on it, you can sign up. It takes 15 seconds with just an email address and a password required. And you'll get access to a 15% trading fee discount attached to your account for life on Bitunix and also on BitGet. So take your picks down below, get those trading fee discounts. Very important that you do that if you want a better exchange, or if you just want to get on a good exchange, that's where you can do it. I also have the VIP group on Telegram. The VIP group chat has been incredibly helpful to a lot of people during this drop downwards. People to discuss things with, right? People to discuss the market and the drop with, and share ideas and bounce ideas off of. You also get access, of course, fundamentally to the trading signals. But honestly, the group chat's just as important in my opinion. But if you want trading signals and the group chat, you can get it on VIP on Telegram. That's closing on May 1st. So you're running out of time there. Get it now. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you soon.